This conference will now be recorded.
I stress site reliability engineering is because, okay, we talked about this before. I've shown you this before. You can go down the path of doing Linux administration. You can go down the path of doing Linux administration. You can go down the path of doing uh, cloud security or cloud engineering. You can go down the path of site reliability engineering. You can go down the path of Linux security or cyber security. You can also go down the path of a mix of the two when we're talking about site reliability engineering and security and cloud. So there's multiple paths from Linux that you can go into, and we talked about that. So site reliability engineering is one of them. What's this thing on my desk? Pull it down. The next one is this is called Elasticsearch, and it's called the Definitive Guide. This is also by O'Reilly. Definitive. I hate the fact that this computer is doing this. Definitive, spelling it wrong. Guide. All right. So here's Elasticsearch for documentation, but let me pull up the book as well too. So the ELK stack, super common across all domains. When I say common and across domains, here is the definitive guide. You can see here you can come in here and grab this right here. Right? It's you can start reading online. It looks like. You see, I'm kind of slow, so that's why I'm like, So here's the definitive guide. You see, it came out in 2015, so you can grab that book online for free. All right, so why do I bring up the ELK stack? All right, so those of you that are into log aggregation, especially security engineers, even SRE, you're gonna always, and this is how you know how common it is. You just come here over the Indeed and type ELK stack, or if you just type ELK. We're just gonna type ELK for now. So you'll see senior platform engineer, cloud operations, cloud infrastructure engineer, AWS DevOps, software architect. Like I say, it spans multiple careers, SRE. And so with the ELK stack, which is Elasticsearch, Logstash, and Kibana, all three individual pieces, but together they help you do log aggregation, and even inside of the Elasticsearch, if you go over here, I think they do machine learning, not AI, but machine learning. So, and they also have on their, if you go on their particular YouTube channel, you'll find out more about, little things that you can get to. But they also do machine learning. So they also have like training as well too, right here on their site to get you up and running if you want to go down that. So Elasticsearch engineers, data analysts, observability engineers, SRE, data analysts started getting into data engineering, and Elasticsearch engineers. In other words, all they do is just install Elasticsearch, configure it for clients and customers, and do log aggregation. When I say log aggregation, I mean reading log files and going from there. So that's super huge. I would add that to I would add this and this as they're two individual paths, but I would just, if you just want to know about them, I would just know about them and what they do. And if it's something that you want to get into, then go down that route. We'll go down that route later, but we won't be going over that tonight. So this one right here, everybody always asks, do I need to know how to code? All right. So there are a few things about coding, right? There are people who use Java, and when I say Java, we're talking about Java programming. And then there are people. Somebody's knocking on the door. Thank you. Yeah. All right. Somebody. Getting into Java programming, C++ programming, uh, Python. You can program in Python. You can do scripting in Python, Ruby, and Go. So what are the top ones to learn that complement what you're already doing, right? When I say complement, I mean if I decide to go SRE, what complements that? The automatic go-to for SRE would be Go. If we're going to talk about what complements you and you're doing data science, it will be Python. What complements you if you are doing Linux administration and going down the path of OpenShift and OpenStack, it will be Python and Bash. If you are just Linux and you're like, hey, I'm not going to do anything else, I'm gonna stick with Bash and Python. So at a foundational, if you're gonna learn any of the two or any of the three, do Bash, do Python, and Bash is just a standard skill because it just comes with the operating system. So Bash, Python, and Go. The other ones are Ruby and Rust. Now we're starting getting into whether you're doing creating APIs, you can do that with Python too, but now we'll start getting into other things. So here's the easiest way to um, get all this information. There's a site, there's a couple of them. They're called exorcism.com. And with exorcism, you can pretty much go into exploring different coding languages, and they have them right here. So here's Python, Coffee, ML, Groovy. If you're a Jenkins fan, this is what Ruby falls under. Again, Vim. We went over Vim a little bit last week. You want to do some SQL training. You want to do standard NL, Java. If you want to do Go, there's that. So let me give you some other things to also look at as well too. So GopherCon is another conference that you can attend. I think they may be online this year. I'm not sure. But GopherCon is another one. They also have a Slack group as well too for women, and they also have a scholarship and all of that stuff. So if you're interested in that, check them out. I'm a part of that group as well too. So anybody that wants to learn Go, they're always willing and ready to rock. We have a couple of Go programmers in the Slack group. The other one that everyone has brought up was Rust programming, and you can get that off of SSism too, but I just want to pull it up. So here's the Rust programming language, performance, reliability, productivity, built-in Rust. Here's what it looked, what you're really getting into. What a lot of people are targeting towards is embedded when they're talking about Rust. Also embedded Linux and embedded programming. All right, so one of the other books I got is Programming Embedded Systems. That gets into remember that on Saturday I did tech stocks and jobs, and we're talking about embedded Linux, and we're talking about programming satellites. This is what we're getting into when we're talking about embedded Linux and so forth. So programming embedded systems. All right. And so it's a book, but there's also, and this is an old book too. So in C and in C++, this is the book right here. This is an old book. But when we're talking about C and C++, as you can see here, they're talking about testing memory chips, writing to memory, writing to chips online, real-time operating systems, dealing with kernels, and so forth. One of the big projects out there is I mentioned it before, it's the Yocto project. Is super huge. It comes out of the Linux Foundation as well. They have scholarships, and they also, you can join this group as well too. And I think part of this group, and I'm not sure if they're still doing it or not, they'll pay you to, to come in to start learning and so forth. And they have a big system. D did it as well too. So if programming speaks to you, embedded speaks to you, getting into Raspberry Pis and programming them and so forth and so on, or writing kernels speak to you, that's super huge. So when Tamika, what do you mean by about writing kernels? So how to write your own kernel, right? So here's this, and it's old, but it talks about like how to build your own kernel. Remember when I told you the kernel is your operating system? This is what we're getting into, like creating your own RTS. So you could say create your own RTOS, real-time operating system, right? So here's on RTOS in 1 hour. They got it broken up in 4 parts. How to build your own real-time operating system. That's what that is. So where now you can have your own operating system that you have built from scratch, and you have your tools. You may have written your own code to do whatever it is that you want to make things more efficient for you. You can end up writing your own operating system and buying your own little satellite and programming it the way you want to and resell it to somebody because you've written something. Just again, thinking outside the box when we're talking about this. All right, my next book is for those that are in data science and love math. These books are coming off my bookshelf, so it's for differential equations. You don't have to get this book. I just threw it out here for you to think about. And boundary value problems. All right. You're saying, when in the world will I have to do differential equations? All right. So I'll go back to that book. All right. So when we start getting into differential equations together with a set of additional constraints are called boundaries. A solution to a boundary value problem is a solution to differential equations and satisfy the boundary conditions. Told you nothing, right? So basically, when we start talking about modeling, you'll start seeing people, and I think, Tara, I think you're into this whole differential equations and so forth. There'll be Tara. I think it's Tara with a T. I think that's correct.
No.
Okay. Yeah. So I got in differential equations in college. That was part of my this was part of my curriculum in college, where we started talking about the boundaries and so forth and so on. Again, I'm just throwing it out there. It is not something that you have to buy. It is not something for you to have your Linux administration or get your RETSA. I'm just giving you books that's off my bookshelf that I think you may and may not be interested in. All right. So did anybody hear about the hack this week with Windows?
Which
Uh,
one?
Differential equations. This is the book right here.
Did you study that? Tam, did you study this?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Right on.
Yep. So differential equations. The book is differential equations and boundary value problems. I'm old, so I have the third edition. But there's different editions out there. But this is problem one right here. See, computing and modeling. That's what differential equations falls under when we start talking about these models, these machine learning and AI models, and how they work, and what's the boundary. I wish I could share my screen. I mean, not share my screen, but my camera. But I think it'd be too much on the bandwidth here. And if you haven't heard, we're having bandwidth issues. My internet is still out, and they said it's not going to be fixed until 9 o'clock. So, gotta bear with me here. All right, so this book right here that I'm about to introduce to you, we'll get back to that hack when we're talking about they had that Windows hack, right? And I posted this in our Slack group. I don't know if anybody took a look at it, but I posted where it's called. All right, so it is called package squatting. I'm gonna get back to this book. Why this book is important. What I'm about to tell you is why this book is important. Okay, package squatting. All right. So what package squatting is, and this happened with SolarWinds, and it's now happening with Python. And why this is important is people download or they create packages that they then submit to a repo wherever they're hosting this particular project at, say Python, or this particular library within Python. And they put in these dummy packages, right? And it's in Slack. And what they then turned around and did is it contacted different groups and said, hey, I found the bug, but they created the bug. And then they turned around and said, oh, well, you found that bug, that's great. So now we got to pay you, which is what bug bounties are for. So there's a website out here for security called Bug Bounties, right? And Facebook has one. Every application that you could possibly think of have these bug bounty programs. And some of these bug bounties that you find pay you up to $1 million, or this is just what people's livelihoods are. Their livelihood is to find bugs in code and applications. That's all they do. They sit back and they're just that's all they do. They try to hack something. They try to show where I can do a SQL injection on your database. I'm able to compromise this in a matter of 5 minutes or 5 seconds. We found this. We know you have a bug. You should pay us because we found this, and now we're gonna help you make it secure. And here are the steps that we do. Here's the things that we do to make it secure. Great. So you found it, and then you get hacked. So there's a team of people that come in, and they're called Linux forensics. And what they do is they come in, and the rule of thumb is if your computer gets hacked, don't turn it off and reboot it, but leave it up. So here's this book. It's called Linux Forensics. And basically, this is the book here. Basically, they talk about how you do incident response, how you should get into how to go about and record this. How do you go back and find these things? So I don't know if you all remember the Toyota hack, and this happened probably like I don't know, probably about 6 or 7 years ago when Toyota got hacked. Toyota got hacked, and a friend of mine, he works over at No. and he had to leave and go and work on that Toyota hack. He was gone for probably like 3 or 4 months. So when that Toyota hack happened, there's a lot of things that happened in that hack, from the database, from hacking of code that got launched into cars. Same way with all these cars and all these EVs and all this. Like there's a whole gamut of embedded embedded Linux security forensics about to pop off. This is a huge known factor. It's not like this is hidden. It's nobody don't know about it. It's gonna be always ongoing. You have to think of it like this. We are a prime example. In Florida, they were hacking the water system, right? You know, they hacked the water system and also the power grids and so forth. So anywhere there's power, like the windmills, Florida, Texas, your power grids, you know, y'all got knocked out by a storm, right? Well, imagine somebody coming in and is able to you know, take your PLCs. So when I say PLCs, PLC chips, let's show you what a PLC looks like. PLC chips, right? So again, these are nothing but little, you know, modules. This little module embedded on the board. DigiKey is another place. Like I don't know if they still do it, but back in college, I used to just get in touch with DigiKey, and anything they had new coming out, any new chip they had coming out, you could just request it, and they would send it to you. If it wasn't too expensive, like $1, $2, $3, and so then you can start programming and creating stuff. But long story. But that's what this is when we start getting into that. So Linux Forensics is the book. If you go on sans.org and you start looking up forensics, we'll look up security forensics, and then security. We'll see if sans pull up some stuff here. See, yeah, network forensic security. Digital forensics and incident response right here, digital forensics training. That's what this gets into. So if you ever get hacked, this is what you have to do. This is what your security team is supposed to come in here and do that. All right. So here's machine learning. If you're interested in machine learning, this is like one of the top books to get. It's this is called The Fundamentals of Machine Learning for Predictive Data and Analytics. It is one that I have not read. It's been sitting on my shelf because I just have not read it because I have other stuff to read. But I'm going to give this to you. It may be something that you may be interested in, and go on from there. Machine learning. That right there. Boom. Right up. So you see 5, and it goes over into different algorithms that you should use for different things when you're doing machine learning, just in case someone was interested in that and so forth. That's one. All right. I talked about embedded Linux, so I won't give you that one. All right. This is a must-have. If you're going to do SRE work, Kubernetes, OpenShift, and anything you just want to know when it comes down to, we'll go to Amazon for this one, for distributed systems. So it's called Distributed Systems and Principles and Paradigms. It's not this one, it's this one.
It's paradigms.
Paradigms. You don't know why I say paradigms, but paradigms. But here you go. Look, it's $358 if you buy the hardback, but if you get the paperback, it's $41. And they do have some
edition.
They do have some down here that's $46 if you want one. But hardcover new, $358. That's why I say.
What are distributed systems?
One of the books that if you want to understand about distributed systems, I give you, let me see if do they have, no, they don't. So let me give you what's in the table of contents. We start off with defining what a distributed system is. Then we get into system architect, like centralized architects, decentralized architect, hybrid. Then they move over into processes, communication, naming, fault tolerance, replication, synchronization. This is why I say it's super huge. It's a good book just to have as a reference when you start talking about Kubernetes, when you start talking about what does a distributed system look like in the cloud, when you start talking about, oh, well, how do I secure, what are some fundamentals that I need to wrap around this? That's where this comes into play. You was getting ready to say something, Tara.
No, you answered it.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I recommend this book. You could probably find it in a PDF because it was made in 2006. You'll probably find it on somebody's site in a PDF in somebody's GitHub repo or GitLab repo somewhere. I guarantee you probably find a PDF for that. Okay, so in Slack this week, I put in this course that is I think this is from, where is this guy from? Let me see, Deep Learning. I can't remember the school right now. This dude right here, Andrew NG, just one of those guys that just know about him. If you in the AI or whatnot, just know about him. Everybody know about Andrew. Just one of those, he's one of those guys. But deep learning, I can't remember the school in which I was at. I'm gonna have to go in my history. Hold on right quick. Let me open up my history. But the name of the book is Deep Learning by Ian Goodfellow and Aaron Corville. But let me go into my YouTube channel because I posted this. I posted this class. It's free, and I think it's being taught out of Cornell or UCLA. Don't get me the line. Let me go look at my history about it. But it's the episode 6 is really good to look at. And the reason why I say it's really good to look at is because it contained a lot of things that we were talking about in terms of, here it is, right here. This one right here.
Machine learning prediction system, and it's available as a scale.
So he gets into, in this episode right here, he gets into, and you can see the breakdown right here. He gets into software engineering. He talks about the different tools as far as like, should you use VS Code? Should you use PyTorch? Why? What are the benefits? Why he didn't like it? Why he did like it? So deep learning is, this one is a full stack deep learning. The book I have in front of me is a deep learning book. It's called Deep Learning. And this is, again, if you're into machine learning, modeling, that's where this comes into play. Look, there's a PDF for this. And there's the website. But yeah, it's called, the book is this, but let me go so you can get the image of the book. Images. Sorry for it being slow. You gotta work with me. All right, so that's what the book looks like, and you see how to learn machine learning. That's what this is. That's what the foundation of this book is how to learn machine learning. And they go over in this book, in the table of contents for this book, they start getting into applied math. Of course, they start off with linear algebra, numerical computation, machine learning basics, applications, and so forth. Auto encoders. That's if you want to go down that route of machine learning and AI. I've also posted free classes for anyone that wants to get into machine learning and big data and so forth. I posted free classes in our Slack if you're looking training. And I think if you look in data science, I post those classes as well too. And I think I've posted some in general as well. So those classes are free. They're just waiting for you. And last but not least, my favorite book of all time. that I would never probably ever read. I'll probably always have it as a reference. It's the CISSP CBK. When I tell you the book is huge, this
Oh,
book is huge. All right. This book is huge. So there used to be 10 domains. There's 12 domains that you have to study for. I think this book has, I don't know, 1,200 pages in it, over 1,200 pages. So it just gives you an idea how big this book is. All right. This book also comes with a workbook as well too, and it also comes with a exam guide as well too. So these are the books that I have on my bookshelf. I shared not all of my bookshelf with you, but these are books that I just have in the house. I have books all over the place that I usually just use as reference. I like to use books as reference, in particular when I'm trying to design architecture or when I'm talking to a client and I want to really understand the client and give the client some reference when we're doing this. And the other, last but not least, this is not the only place to go, but you can always go to Gartner. Um, Research, and I'll give you the other one. So a lot of people like to use their research and as a level of I don't want to say a level of understanding. I want to say a level of validation. Hey, when I went to X, Y, and Z, when I'm trying to do X, Y, and Z, why should I do this? So they've done the research behind it, so you can kind of grab some stuff and then go from there to try to prove your point. Another website you may be interested in is 451 Research. We interviewed a couple of people that worked over there. But again, this is going into like, all right, trending topics, right? And what does that mean? What the impact is it? White papers, so forth and so on. This is where you want to go for reference when you're, again, you walking in the way I'm training you and the way I hope you're receiving is you are the solution when you walk in the door. You are not the worker bee. You're not the employee. You are the solution. And if you have that mindset walking into and be equipped with that concept first, you're going to always walk into the situation with what is the problem, not, well, okay, I'm here and I need to learn. No, you're walking in because again, you have pieced together what from their job description, you have pieced together what it is that they exactly need. And then you also have pieced together a visual diagram of what they need and then their gaps as well too. Because when you get to the interview, you're going to tell them what gaps they have and they're going to say yes. And you're going to say, well, have you thought about this or this and that, that and other? You are going to be the solution. You are the solution when you walk in. And you want to walk into the situation where you are moving up into management, where you are moving up to create your own and make the most money that you can. Everybody say it's not for money. I say you're working to leave a legacy. So it is about the money. My take. Any questions so far? I'm gonna put these up on my shelf and get some water. Let me know what your thoughts are. If this is something that I need to go back over before we get into the lecture tonight. I'm gonna try to see what I can do with that. While I do put these books up. Project management. I'll give you that in a minute. When you are, since we got a quick 1 minute break here, please go ahead and start spinning up your instances in AWS, Google Cloud, or Azure, wherever that's at. And so we're going to get busy tonight on the command line. I also want to start. I probably won't be able to do it this week. I'll try. Um, we're going to install the actual CLI for AWS and the CLI for Google Cloud. I probably won't do Azure, but we're gonna need to do those things. And I know where I can go out and do that at. I'll just spin up an instance on DigitalOcean, and then we'll go from there. Does that make sense? Is everybody ready for that? Everybody know how to get back to where you were last week. You know how to spin up an instance on Google Cloud. You know how to spin up an instance on AWS. You know how to get logged in and set up. Everybody with me?
Hi, my name is Sherry Baker. This is my first time attending the
Okay.
class. So please forgive me. I'm just going to be kind of in listen mode, and hopefully I should be able to get caught up. I'm just starting to learn Linux. I have to be very honest. But I saw you on YouTube, and I wanted to kind of, start networking and start learning Linux so I can, make things better.
Got you. Do you have a AWS account or a Google Cloud account?
I have a Google. No, I have a Microsoft one with my job. No, I don't.
No. Do you have a Gmail account?
I do. Yes.
So if you have a Gmail account, you can just go to cloud.google.com.
Okay.
And then I can walk you in from there, so you'll be along with the class instead of trying to go back and look at videos and like, oh, I don't know what she said. She did something. I don't know what she did. And then also too, here's a rule of thumb. In this class, in the way I function, nobody gets left behind. So you're gonna learn tonight. You won't be sitting back and listening. So do you get cramps in your fingers or anything?
No, but I don't. But here's the thing. I'm actually in my car on my phone, and I am just leaving my job.
No problem.
I'm not in front of my computer, so not an excuse. I'm just
no problem. There's no problem. I just wanted to make sure that you weren't gonna tell me your fingers cracked. But
I want to use that one. I want to use I'm in the car. I like that.
Yeah, I like that too. I've never heard that before.
You'll be fine. So when you get home, you already have a Gmail account. You can just go to cloud.google.com and just make sure it's free for you, and then that should get you underway. I think you get $200 or $300. Is it $300 for those that signed up? I forget.
It's 300.
I know it's 200 for Microsoft, but I don't know about. But it's not a problem.
Everybody's saying 300, so you get 300 free credits. Just remember to turn off y'all machines. All right, let me put these books up so we can get cracking, and give them about 1 minute, and we'll go from there. In the meantime, make sure you get your machines up, and also we're gonna share some screens tonight. So I'm gonna call on you randomly for you to walk me through some exercises. So just make sure you're ready. Are you down with GCP? Yeah, you know me. All right. Get these put up out of my way. And make sure y'all are logging in and getting signed up for your stuff.
Hi, Tamika.
Yes, sir.
Hi, my name is Derek. This is my first day also on the Meetup here. I do have a Google account. I just went here and it says get started for free. I'm wondering if that's what I should, or I can watch I didn't watch the first Meetup. I think that was last week. So I know I'm late. So I could do the same thing. I can listen today, or I don't know where the class is.
That's totally up to you, but sign up for the free account is recommended. It's $300. I put a link into the free account. You should be able to use your Gmail account.
Yeah. Let's get started for free here. So I guess that's the way to go.
Yeah.
And you said they give you $300. Okay.
They give you a $300 credit, but when we finish this evening, just make sure that you turn your machine off because it will eat up your $300 credit.
Oh, I see. Okay. So I see it here. There's $300 free credit. So I guess I should go through this while you're and listen.
Or you could just be patient and wait. But if you're going to go ahead and sign up, go ahead and sign up.
Oh, I can wait too. Whatever. It's up to you. I don't know. I figure you guys are already ahead. I don't know.
No, we're not. Cam is going to put up some books and stuff. So go ahead and like she said, just get logged in. And then she's going to pick up from there. She said everybody log into their GCP account.
Yep, go ahead and log into the GCP account. I'm lay my desk back down. Log into your GCP account. Once you get logged in, make sure you get a terminal up. So that means you need to spin up an instance. Get a terminal up.
She eventually told me she wanted me to come to her. I told a lot of my friends don't have those people in their lives. I want to learn.
Hopefully, I'll be able to share my screen and we won't have any delays. But hey, don't quote me on that one. I am on a hotspot. Let me see. Is it up? Nope, it's not up.
Hey Tam, thank you for going through all this effort. I know it's a lot, like to run this meetup, give and not have internet connectivity. That's thank you.
You're welcome. Let's see if we can get in here. You see how slow I'm running right now. All right. So once you get in, if you have your Google Cloud account or even in your AWS account, you should be able to create a project. Once you create your project, you need to click into that project. Once you click into that project, you should see a dashboard like this. Is everybody with me? You don't have to be in Google Cloud, but you do need an instance. So if you're in AWS, you know what you need to do. Everybody with me? Oh, AWS, Amazon Web Services. Did anybody turn on two-form factor on their Amazon account? All right.
I did. Thank you for the for the motivation.
I do what I can.
Yeah.
All right, let me get logged into my Amazon account. We'll run through it again. This will be the second week. We'll go through this. Next week, we won't go through it. Next week, I'm just going to be like, spin up a, let's do this on command line. Let me turn on my two-factor here.
Hey, this is Sherry. Am I able to ask a question, or do I need to? Is it appropriate to do it now or wait to the end? I'm just curious.
No, you can. No, you can ask.
Do we record these meetups? Because I would like to probably go back and look at. Okay.
Yep, they're recorded and placed on YouTube.
Okay. Okay, great. Thank you.
Could you talk about project management and tech?
Yeah, I saw you. I haven't forgot. I'm gonna come back to it.
Okay.
All right. Let me get everybody spun up and then I'll go into it. All right. Let me get my AWS, my two-form factor. All right. So, all right. GCP, we're in. You have that. Sign into the console for AWS. All right. It's going to ask me stuff. All right. Signing in. I have a machine out here because I have a GitLab runner still running out here. All right. So now that you're in, let's go back over this. If you are in Google Cloud, we're going to come over here to the menu option. We're going to go down here to Compute Engine. We're then going to click on VM instances. Once we click on VM instances, then we're going to create. Once we start creating, we're going to label our instance, pick something that you can remember for this instance. For the name, I just called it a Wednesday class like I did last week. After we do that, I'm trying to find out who's not muted. Somebody's not muted. Oh, here we go. All right, once we do Wednesday class, you can add labels. If you ever want to know what something is, click on the question mark. It says to organize your project, add arbitrary labels, key values. Use these labels to indicate environment and so forth. So that's what the labels do. The labels allow you to go in and out of, like, say, hey, I want to do I want to I want to grab all the machines in Google Cloud with this particular label. That's what that label does. It allows you to quickly enhance your search, if you want to look at it that way. I choose the region closest to me. I am US East 1, so you can go between South Carolina, excuse me, and South Carolina and Northern Virginia. You could choose something else close to you. All right. So what I didn't discuss last week, and this is common through both AWS and I was getting ready to say VMware, but this is common between AWS and Google Cloud. And I got double verify this, but it may be true, and Azure. So what's the difference between a region and what's the difference between a zone? You see that here. You have a region and then you have a zone. So what's the difference between those two? What difference does that make? Right? So let's go over here. Let's go GCP zone versus region, right? So you're like, what in the world is a zone and a region? All right. So compute engine resources are hosted in multiple locations worldwide. We saw that. We saw over here that we had different locations over here, Europe, Asia. And here's another fun fact. Different locations and different zones have different CPUs. So if I want a GPU, it may only be offered in US East 2, or if I want to have a particular type of storage, it may be only offered in a certain location. So, you have to know that, right? So in here, they say, okay, these locations are made and composed of regions and zones. A region is a geographical location where you can host your resources. Regions have 3 or more zones within them. So when we saw that when we were over here, I chose US East 1, but I have 3 different zones in which I can place my information in. So why is that important? Well, I can have a web server up, but my web server front end be hosted in zone B, zone C, and zone D. So if I get attacked and my zone goes down if my web server goes down in zone B, I still have zone C and zone D up. So now we're talking about having something highly available. Remember when I started talking about distributed systems, we want to get into that. That's why I say that book is super important for you to have, so you can get an overall concept. And don't go read the book, right? Just read portions of that book for understanding and how concepts, right? Don't sit there and try to read it because you're gonna fall asleep. All right. So then the other piece is this. It says, all right, for example, US1 is a region, and it denotes a region on the West Coast, but it has 3 zones. So that's when you see the -A, the -B, and the -C. So that's where they get into the differences between a region and a zone. And let me see if they got a diagram of a region and a zone. Yeah, they don't have a diagram. Let's look up a diagram so it's very clear to you. I like to have images so you can see the difference between them. All right, so here we go right here. I hope this helps a little bit here. All right, so we have US. We know the US has multiple regions. We have Europe, but so they broke Europe down, and it's like, okay, Europe has multiple regions, but we're gonna choose Europe West 2, and then we're gonna break it down into 3 different zones within that particular region. Is this a little bit clear? So I attribute this to I attribute this to being in New York, and then I picked 3 different locations in New York to host my application around the city, right? That's how I look at that. Does that make sense?
Yes, it
But
does.
okay, so but here's an issue that you should have noticed that pops up. If Europe West 2 goes down and I only have my application in this region, my application is now out of whack. So maybe I should host it in multiple regions and maybe a zone in each one of those regions. Does that make sense now? Because if this goes down, if I got my application only in this region and the application goes down, my connection to that region goes down, then I'm screwed. You got it? All right. So now let's get back over here to GCP. We want to choose, and if you look, they tell you how much things cost. So now I'm going to use N2, and here's another little known fact. You see here the different type of CPUs that you're picking here. They have different type of CPUs. So we got that. You can do compute optimize or memory optimize, and you can see the memory changes on this right here to 1.4 terabytes. Compute optimize for CPUs and memory, and then just general purpose, right? And then you can click on a micro, and the micro should work for me, and number $7. And then now we're going to choose our operating system. And our operating system, we come up here, we choose Red Hat. 20 gigs is fine for tonight, and then we're going to choose 8 gigs, and then we're going to hit select. I am not doing anything where I'm going to need HTTPS. I am going to turn on all access to all cloud APIs. Now, in other words, what happens is inside of this machine, and we're going to get to that tonight because I want you all, because next week I want to be able to, next week I don't want you to come here and spin up your machine. I want you to go from command line and spin up your machine. And you say, Tamika, I thought we were learning Linux. We are, but you're also going to learn cloud fundamentals at the same time, which makes you much more lethal when going out into the world. You're like, hey, have you ever had any experience in Google Cloud? Yes, I have. What did you do in Google Cloud? Well, we spun up a web server or a web application that had a front end in three different regions. We had our webs, we had our back end in three different zones, and then we were able to connect back and forth on that. I used Docker containers in order to set up this design, and also I know how to use, this is my favorite, I know how to use Lucidchart to show you exactly what I built. That is the end goal. You should be able to read off to anyone in this group what this is, what I pulled up right here. I check my code into GitLab. I do a scan of my code. I do a scan of my Docker container. I then roll over and I push my code out, and I build out my Docker container. I then deploy this to a Kubernetes cluster, i.e. a GKE cluster, a AKS cluster, a ECS, or a vanilla Kubernetes or a Rancher cluster, and you know exactly what that is. You know, you understand Linux, you understand this, you understand distributed systems. That's get back into that. All right. So over here in my GKE, I'm just gonna hit create because I don't need anything else here. I have chosen my size of 20 gigs. I can change, I went in here, I can change that right there. So I don't need to do that. But you also get different type of discs here. You can get SSDs or standard persistent or balanced, and each one is different. And they kind of go into this, but you can learn more about this on what type of IOPS that you want. And this be important when you start talking about designing something and you need fast speed, fast reads, and so forth. So for now, we're gonna hit select there, and then we're gonna create. All right, over to AWS. Real simple, kind of similar. But now I want to launch an instance. I'm going to go here to launch an instance. For right now, I am going to choose Red Hat. You don't have to use this. I'm just giving it to you. If you already have something in GCP, don't worry about it. A T2 Micro, I don't think I can use that anymore, but I'll step up to a T2 Small. I'm gonna hit next. I have my own set of default VPCs that I can choose from. Go from there, boom, boom, boom. I'll let it add security groups. Add storage, we'll make it 20 gigs. And you can pick what kind of storage you want right here. And they also have they also give you, if you went somewhere else, you can learn about what each storage is right here. They'll tell you a little bit more about the EBS volume types. All right. And then you can add your own tags. You can choose a security group here. I think I'll choose this one because that's the one I had last week. That's open up to 22. And if you notice, it's only open up to me on my IP address. And then we'll hit launch. We're going to use the same key pair that I had last week. I acknowledge, and then we're going to launch our system, and we're good to go. We come back over to Google Cloud. We are up and running. You click on the SSH terminal, and we are here. And everybody here, let me know by putting a 1 in the chat. If not, let me know where you're at. I know for those of you who are driving, this is not where you're at. All right. All right, let's get cracking. What do you say? Oh, because I'm not on my network. No problem. Don't recognize me not on my network. Hold on, let's see. I think that's the issue. Uh-oh, my internet may be back. Let's see. My internet may be back. Oh, sucky now. Okay, hold on. I hope it don't kick y'all off. Y'all still with me? It didn't kick you off, did it? Can somebody type a 1?
No, we're here.
Okay. All right.
Like I said, if it
All
kicks you off, we will be on here till you get back. It will hang us all up.
Okay. Let's see what's going on with this. Why it's not connecting. I may have to put my SSH keys in there, but that's okay. Yeah, I may have put my SSH keys in there, but it's okay. No problem. We'll fix that. Let's go ahead and view instance.
When you put your keys in, make sure you take your screen off so we won't have to blur that out and you won't get hacked again.
Oh, that one what happened.
Oh, okay.
All right, so here's the EC2 instance right here. You can, once it gets these 2/2 checks, you should see what happens, right? So you come down here and you check monitoring. Come on. You'll see that it gives you your CPU utilization, network, so forth and so on. It gives you all these checks and so forth. So I have this in there. I am now going to SSH to this machine. And I'll blow this up in a minute, and let me start talking about project management. I just wanted everybody to get here. It's there. Yep. Hold on. Turn the sound down there. Yep. Azure. Okay, yeah. All right. And because I chose a Linux box, EC2-user is the user for logging in. All right, so now let's make this a little bigger for those in the back that can't see. All right. That better? Everybody here? You didn't get a GCP account, get logged in?
I
If
did.
you got a Gmail account, you should be able to roll right to this. You should be able to
I know
create a
I'm good.
project and roll right on.
But I
I'm
haven't.
good as
It's
far as
on
that,
you. You
but
want
I'm not
GCP or you want AWS?
GCP.
Yes, no, maybe.
No, GCP.
All right. We're gonna power through. All right. So last week we talked about LS, we talked about SED, we talked about curl. Did we do curl? We didn't do curl. I don't think we did curl. All right. So this week, let's do a little curl real quick. All right. So I think it's installed. Double tap. Yep, it's installed. How about Wget? No, Wget is not installed. All right. So in Red Hat, there is what we call package managers. All right. We have a package manager in Red Hat. We have package managers in Windows. We have package managers inside of Debian. And you have package managers on your Apple device too. Brew installs your packages and so forth. In our case, we're using Red Hat, so we're using Yum. If you're using Debian, it's called apt-get, apt.get. That's what it's called. In our case, we're using Yum. In my case,
Tam, I think
I
your
want a
screen is
package
frozen.
installed called Wget. How do I know Wget is not installed? Well, I
Tam.
do Wget. If I do WG and I just do double tap, my autocomplete lets me know that that's not there. You might be on the wrong screen. Oh. Am I on the wrong screen? Oh, you know what? I may have to come back out. Can y'all see that screen now?
No, what we see is the connection via
I don't hear
cloud.
nobody.
We still.
Can y'all hear
That's
me?
yeah, the same error message that you got, I got as well, and I'm not able to power through.
All right.
Hey, everybody, you guys can hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Just hold on. Tam is going to leave out of the meeting and come back in. And so we'll pick up right after.
Okay, but I got a question, Dion.
What's your question?
I'm here in my page, and I guess I created an instance, but I don't know if it's running. I'm see if I can send you a screenshot of what I got.
Okay.
Because I wasn't able to do the class last time when y'all actually went through setting it up.
No worries.
Hey,
Can
Todd,
you
if
hear
you
me?
go to VM instances on GCP, you ought to see a list of whatever VMs are up.
Okay, well because I'm on the page that says Compute Engine, and then I see that it says VM
Can you
instance.
share your page, Rico? Your screen?
I have it's run it shows me the options where I can
Can you see my
refresh,
screen?
start or stop, but it definitely looks like it's running, but I'm just not sure.
Okay. All right. We back? We good?
Yeah, Rico was walking Taj through a issue. Taj, you want to do a quick screen share so we can make sure you have an instance up?
Okay, I'll do that. Let me get to the thing.
All right, let me go
And
back.
I think it'll help everybody to see.
That's not when it's in. Where's my screen share? Oh.
No worry, Roz.
Okay.
I have to go through the class and then I have to go back over and do stuff myself because I need to look at it and read it and sit there and stare at it for a minute and make sure it works for me. So I'm in the process of taking a Python class, and the teacher, she is a million miles per minute. And she's like, easy, yes, right? Easy, easy. And she's like, oh, don't worry, it's only day 2.
Okay, you see that?
No, I don't see your screen, Tosh.
Coming, it's coming, it's coming. I clicked the button. You see that?
Yeah, I see your screen.
Okay.
Get right there. You called it TNT with the hyphen?
Yeah,
Yep.
the TNT, that's your instance.
That's it?
Okay. Okay. So it's running. Okay, cool.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
you got a little green check.
Yep. Got all that. All right, cool. Thank you very much.
No worries.
Yeah.
Did everybody catch that? Is everybody in that? Do they have a green check by their instance? Again, make sure that you turn the instance off once we're done with the class, because what happens is it'll run your credit out, and then it could possibly, if you had to add your card, to charge your card. So make sure that you turn that off.
Yeah, definitely. Because I logged in. Apparently, I had a free one whenever last year or something, and never used it. And I guess it expired because it said I wasn't eligible for the free credit.
Yeah,
And I found my way.
Yeah, I have.
All right, who needed help?
Taj got it up.
Okay, we ready to rock then?
Yeah,
Mhm.
are you ready? Are you back up? Do you want to check the house net, the internet first? Before
Yeah,
you get back on?
I'm on it now.
Oh, okay, cool.
All right, you all see my screen? You see my terminal?
Yes.
All right, cool. All right, so what I was saying before, I want to install Wget. And I do a double tab. That's how I know it's not there, right? It's not there. So Yum is the package manager. So you hit Yum. Somebody said stop. Oh, so I hit Yum install -y and Wget. Why do I want Wget? I'll show you. So it's gonna go out to the repositories on Red Hat. Here's the thing that's gonna be the difference for you when you install Red Hat on your machine versus Red Hat in the cloud. They're called subscriptions, right? So the subscriptions that you have for Red Hat, the latest Red Hat licensing is this. You get under Red Hat cloud, not Red Hat cloud, but Red Hat developer license. You get a license that gives you access to 15 machines. Let me pull that up. Red Hat developers. Oh, come on. I'm pulling it up on another screen. I'll bring it over. Red Hat developer license. Right here. Okay. So Red Hat developer license right here. They've changed it. It used to be you had only one machine. All right, so where you use this at? You're gonna use this on your Windows, Apple, or another Linux box, or VirtualBox, or Hyper-V. You're gonna install some type of VirtualBox. So in here, I have VMware Fusion on this box. This is probably gonna cause my machine really to start spinning out of control. Let me close this down because I think that mail eats up a lot. Oh, look, not supported. Awesome. All right, let's go here. VirtualBox. I have to get an upgrade probably. All right, so here's VirtualBox. There's a new update out. But anyway, this is what VirtualBox looks like. What you would do is you would get access to Red Hat subscription. You would come in here and you would download what we call ISOs. So let me pull up my terminal here. Control tab there. CD over to my downloads folder. And then let's do it ls -l. Let's grep for ISOs. ISO, and then let's grab for, I wanted to end with ISO. All right. Remember that from last week? I did, and you should remember this. I did a ls-l in this directory. I then piped it over to grep. I then told me to give me anything that ends with an ISO on the end of its end of that string. So here I have a Rel 8 ISO. It's a DVD ISO. Let's go back and use the up arrow, and let's put this in human form. This is what the H is for. It's going to give me the sizing of that. You can notice right here is one size in kilobytes, and then this gives me another size. So that DVD by itself is 6.6 gigs for Rel 8. For Rel 8.1 is 7.3 gigs. So they're pretty chunky. So, you know, take some time to download. So what happens is inside a VirtualBox, I would do this. Let me actually delete. I don't think this is there anymore, but we'll remove it. Delete all files. I don't need it. And delete all files. Remove. Delete all files. All right. So I don't know why VirtualBox closed. Yes, thank you, VirtualBox. All right. So now I want to create a new machine. Now this is what you would do if you're gonna do this at home, and you don't want to use the cloud stuff. New folder. We'll call this W_C for Wednesday class. Create. All right. Well, I don't know what happened to you. Why are we acting so slow? Oh, we're there. Cancel. Why are we doing this? I don't know why we're acting so slow. All right, anyway, new machine. All right, so now I have this here, but I want to do Linux and I want to do Red Hat 64-bit. I can put it in that folder that I had just found. I just created, but for right now we'll just leave that here. And I'll call this WC again. We'll hit continue. You cannot create the folder already exists. Oh, okay, that's fine. And I just put an _T. All right. So now, and I could have changed into that directory, but for right now, this works. Then we'll hit continue. It says how much RAM you want to use. Now, if you got a machine that doesn't have a lot of memory, I recommend you kind of stick kind of low. I think the book recommends that you do 512 for each one. All right, then hit continue. It's gonna do 8 gigs. That's fine. Create. You want to do either do you want to do a VDI, a VHD, or VMDK? We're gonna do VMDK. I'm gonna hit continue. I like to do mine all in one fixed size, one big blob, not dynamically allocated, not split over multiple files. I just do one big file. Continue, and then now this is where I can tell it what size I want it to be. So I'm just gonna make it a little bit bigger, 10 gigs. And you can see I can go up to 2 terabytes. There's a file size limit for your particular file system. So we'll go more over into this, like ext2, ext3, ext4, and xfs are all file systems in Linux. So we'll get into that. And then I hit create, and it's gonna do its thing. All right. So now that I have this, I now want to attach my ISO that I have to this particular machine, right? Because I want to boot off that ISO. So going over this, you can see the system that I have. you have to have a machine that can do virtualization. So what does that mean? So there's two different types of virtualization, type 1 and type 2 virtualization. Your VMware EXI would be your type 1, and then VirtualBox and VMware Fusion would be type 2. And the difference is like VMware EXI, I literally take a disk and I install that on there, and I would then have a listing. I mean, I would then have access to the hardware directly with VMware EXI. All right. With this, in this situation with VirtualBox, the operating system from my Mac has access to the actual hardware. I then put something else on top, and going through the operating system, I'm getting that particular one. So ESXi VMware. So they have a whole curriculum on this bare metal hypervisor. Here you go. And there's also a learn VMware that's free if you ever want to get into VMware. There's also VMware user groups. And VMware is just not for bare metal. They do Tanzu and so forth and so on. So just a little FYI there. They have different learning paths, and they got different products and so forth. So again, like I say, Tanzu is their Kubernetes and so forth. So vSAN, site recovery, just a ton of stuff you can get into, and some of the stuff is free as well too. It is learn. I think it's my learn VMware, but let's go hit learn VMware. Let me see if they bring it up. No, let me look up. Let me do this. My learn. Yeah, my learn VMware. Not that. My learn VMware. Okay. All right, here we go right here. All right, and before you get to this, there's like this whole thing with the VMware Learn. Let me see if this will bring it up. I'm trying to get to they list the classes out, and a lot of it you could take for free. But you get the gist here. Yep. This is why I don't use the VirtualBox and stuff. This is why I had everybody go out to AWS and stuff, because you may not have the resources and whatnot. But let's get back to this VM. All right, so we have this VirtualBox up. It tells you the amount of memory, gives you the audio. You can see it's reading from the operating system what type of hardware I'm able to access and so forth. So now I want to start this up, but let's get into the settings of this machine. Come on. All right, we got advanced. It lets you know shared clipboard. We can go host to guest. Let's go bi-directional. Drag and drop. Let's go bi-directional. Description, we don't need that, and you can do this encryption on here. Your system, we can turn on our network. The UTC clock is fine, the processor is fine, the acceleration is fine. Remote displays enable 3D acceleration if I need to. If I want to redirect my display to somewhere else, I can. I can enable recording, where I can record my keystrokes and stuff like that. So I can do that. Here's my storage as well, my audio, my network, My ports, shared folder, user interface. All right, and now we're gonna hit OK. We're gonna say those settings. Let's start this. Failed to start. What are you saying? What's wrong? Okay. Kernel driver RC, this kernel module has been loaded successfully where blah, blah, blah. The support is not installed on Linux Open Return. All right. So it doesn't like this Sierra stuff. Oh yeah, here we go. This is what I love. This may force me to upgrade. Yep. This may force me to upgrade. So let's go back over here. Let's close that out. Let's open back up VirtualBox and then do an update. You gotta love these things.
Oh, you're upgrading VirtualBox or your host computer?
VirtualBox.
Oh, okay.
Yep, because when we opened up, it told me there was an update. See?
Yep, that's the same thing I get on mine. I'm just now plugging my iMac up.
Yep,
And the
so
version of Windows 10 does not allow me to use VirtualBox or any other hypervisor.
Yep, and this is why I pushed everybody to using cloud instances because of these
Exactly. I
things.
have a free AWS account, so I'm going to use it again before it expires. I got to get back on that.
Yep, this is why I had everybody go out to the cloud. All right, let's look and see if we can find my download. Let me see if this download is done.
I'm on Windows, and I was able to download VirtualBox, and have, I can have like CentOS and things on it. So that I tend to use WSL for a lot of this stuff, and I don't remember if that's how I did it, but it is possible to get at least VirtualBox on a Windows 10 machine.
Yeah, I have the home version. Do you have the professional or do you have the home version? That's the issue.
I got the pro version.
That's why I have the home version. So
Okay.
It's like, nope, can't do it. So I had to trick it.
Yeah, gotcha.
No, all you had to do is type in sudo space su dash, and that should get you there. All right, it did something. I don't know where it went now. This is why I don't do this. This is why. Let's see. Let's see if it acts better now. Nah. Let's go all the way out. Ignore.
Could it be the Red Hat licensing agreement or something like that? It's not compatible with the hardware or something?
Nah, this is just this Big Sur for our Macs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I've been having issues with a lot of things. All right, let's cancel that.
Okay, that's why I'm not upgrading past Mojave just yet, because Catalina was the same way.
All right, so let's go back over here. Let's do new. Let's site test. Let's do Linux 64-bit. We at Linux Red Hat. Let's go Red Hat. Continue. We're gonna take defaults. We're not gonna change anything. We're gonna do this VMDK. Continue. Fix size. Continue. We're gonna leave it at 8 gigs. We're gonna create. And it could be I'm out of space too. All right, so that first one we're gonna remove and delete all the files there. Make sure, let's hit a start. Yeah, kernel driver. Make sure the kernel module has been loaded successfully. Sublib OS int what 3 blah blah blah. The support driver is not installed on Linux open return EONT. So I'm gonna have to do some investigation on that as to what that is. And because my VMware, my VMware Fusion didn't work either.
And I wouldn't upgrade past Catalina.
Yep.
Because
This
Big
Mac.
Sur,
Yep.
yep, I
So
knew it.
yep. That's why. This is why I had everybody go out to the thing. Because imagine I had to do 50 people that got the same issue. Yeah. All right. So we're back over here. We did a I was gonna show you the upload, how to upload this, but here's a beauty of GCP. And this is why I like GCP a little bit over Google Cloud. We can do this. It is called nested virtualization. So and what this allows you to do, and we'll go GCP. So what this would allow us to do, see, enabling nested virtualization on your VM instances inside of GCP. So what this will allow us to do is turn on nested virtualization inside our GCP instances. We can upload our ISOs onto those instances, and then we can create our VMs and set up our whole study series like they do inside the book, where they have you spin up KVM. We can do all of that inside of not DigitalOcean, but inside of GCP using, it's called nested virtualization. So what happens is, because you need a bare metal virtualized machine in order to use KVM, because remember it's type 2. So that's why you have VMware Fusion, I should say VMware Fusion, your what was the other one? VirtualBox. It would be like setting that up on your GCP instances and then spinning up your stuff for what you call it. So it's called nested virtualization. All right, so now let's get back to what we were doing before. All right, so I installed Wget on my machine, and I used Yum to install my Wget. And Yum is your package manager inside of your actual Red Hat box. If I'm on my Mac, I'm clear. I do brew install Wget. And this is brew is my package manager for this, right? So that's what that is. All right. So now what's special about Wget? Well, I want to be able to get let's go here to EPEL. I want to be able to get and set up repositories for my EPEL. I'm on Rail 8. So essentially I could just grab this link right here. So I can just right click and do copy link, and then go back to my I CD over here to temp too. And then I can do wget, and then I'm just gonna paste that link in there. And what it's gonna do is gonna go out to the web, and it's gonna grab that RPM for me. Now when I do a LS, the RPM is there. And now I have another package manager that I can use that's inside of Red Hat. It's called RPM. So now I can do RPM or Yum. Let's use Yum, because here's the difference. RPM says, hey, RPM dash install, which is I, V for verbose, H, which gives you those hashes that go across your screen. And then EPEL, this would say, I want to visually see this RPM installed, right? Using hashes. And so that's what you get, right? So now what I did was I installed Wget. I used Wget to go out to the internet and grab me a package. So if I want to grab something off a website, I grab that package. I can use curl to grab that package as well too. Then I use RPM to install. But how about I don't want to use RPM to install, because what RPM says is
I
if
am.
if this machine had any type of if this RPM had dependencies, it's not going to resolve and install those dependencies. Yum will install those dependencies. So now I can do a RPM-E, and I'm going to remove this RPM. So now I'm going to check to see if I remove it by doing a RPM-QA. This is a query. And I'm going to grep for EPEL. And you can see it's not there. But now if I do a yum install of that same one, it's going to go out and do its little check. And it's going to say, do you want to install that RPM? And I'm saying yes. And so now it's going to install it. So now we can double check to see if that's installed by the RPM-QA and grep for EPEL. And you can see the RPM is installed. I know you got questions. Was everybody able to keep up with that? Okay, that's fine. Anybody else? Everybody else was able to keep up? You don't have any questions?
It's okay to be honest.
Hey, it's all right. If you had questions, okay. All
I've
right.
already asked questions, so I'm good.
Okay.
Happy
Yeah.
New Year to everybody. I'm just not coming back.
Yeah. That's okay.
Yeah, and everybody, I want you to know, like, this is a learning experience. Don't pretend like silence is agreement and Tam will keep going. And if you want her to explain it, okay, so there are some questions coming over, Tam.
Yeah, I see him. All right. Good. I'm glad you had those questions. All right. So, package manager. Do I need to start there, or do I need to start with the other stuff? Okay, so super privilege. Let's go back. So you got logged into your machine. On these cloud instances, you do sudo su dash. That gets you to root. All right. Well, hold on. I'm looking for somebody tonight. Oh, there she is. There she is. I want to make sure I don't mispronounce your names. Sashini, correct?
Yes, I'm here.
All right. Now tell me, because you know you worked on this today.
Oh
Tell
Lord.
me, how do I change my time zone?
Um, time date CTL.
Okay.
Space.
Uh-huh.
Set dash time zone,
Okay.
and then open quotation mark. I don't know, America slash. I did New York, so
You did
new
new and
underscore
underscore.
York. Close. Yep, and enter. And
Boom, that girl took notes. She took notes. You knew I was gonna call on you tonight.
Good job.
You knew
thank
I was
you.
gonna call on you tonight. All right. So what we just did, we did this last week, right? We went over this last week. We went over, like, how do I change my time? How do I get my time adjusted for where I'm at, right? Remember we talked about it. If we did time, date, CTL, and remember everything has a man page. Everything has help. So you can do time, date, CTL info. Nothing. All right, cool. So now let's use the up arrow. I'm going, and if you're at the end of the line, I'm gonna give you this one. If you're at the end of the line, you hit Control A, get you to the beginning of the line. All right, and then I'm going to type in man. Now it gives me a man page. In this man page, it gives me my options of what I can do to set my time, to adjust the clock, to just how I want to see it. If I want military time or not, that's what that does. All right. So if we keep going, like if I hit the space bar, it's gonna give me a whole pages right here. You see how that went down? All right. So it tells you, like, if you just run, let me get my arrow over here. If you just run time, date, CTL, it's just gonna give you this. If you want to set up your NTP, you get that. If you want to make sure everything is synced, you do that. But let's go back up here where we got time, set zone time. So set time zone, you can set just the time. You can list the time zone. So let's go in here and let's list time zone. Let's highlight that. Apple C for me, Control C if you're doing something else. We're gonna quit that. We're gonna do time, date, CTL, list time zones. Scrolls off the screen. Went over this last week. Let's do a less so that we can get the top of the file. We're gonna clear again. We're gonna do pipe that over to head and dash in 20. It's gonna give us 20 lines. In our case, to get what we want, because we want the Americas, we're gonna grep dash I to ignore case, and we're gonna do America, and it's gonna list all the stuff for America. And then in here, we can see that we have one for New York. All right, hence why we did that, set time zone. All right, boom, set time zone. So what did Tamika do? Tamika said, okay, we're gonna do we're gonna use our package manager. Let's do this. Yum remove. I'll start over. Wget. I'm using Yum to remove my Wget plus any dependencies that may be associated with it. So it's gonna remove it. All right. And then now when I type Wget, it's not there. I need to ensure that my package is there. So these packages that I'm ensuring that are there come from Yum. And Yum has what we call a list of repositories. So if I do a Yum repo list, it's going to list the repositories out there for me. These repositories, and this is what I was going down, are coming from the fact that you are in AWS and they have a list of repositories. And how do I know that? This RHUI tells me that. It also tells me if I bet you they may have it in here. Let's see, Yum, repo. So here's the listing. I'll CD over to that directory. So this is how I know what's available to me in terms of repos. So I have what they call .repo, so EPL modular, EPL playground. I installed the RPMs. Did you install, did you use Red Hat, and where are you at? Are you in GCP and you picked Debian? Or are you in you got a Red Hat machine? Because you should have Yum by default. That's installed by default. Yep. What's your operating system? So if you do a cat etc Red Hat release, that should tell you what if you got Red Hat on there or not. And if you can't type that right there, that means you're not in a Red Hat machine. So if you can type that command, I'll paste it in the chat. You can cut and paste that. This is how you know if you're on a Red Hat machine or not. And everybody can follow along with this. If you're on a Red Hat machine, you should get that. You should type a 1 if you got that. If you're able to cat and you got Red Hat release 8.3 or Red Hat something, you should be there. All right. All right. So now after you do that Red Hat release, now what we want to do is we want to now say, okay, I want to install Wget. Yum is my package manager. And Yum has access to all these repos here. All this right here it has access to. And not every repo is on by default. So how do I know not every repo is on by default? It's because when I do a Yum repo list, this tells me what repos are enabled by default. So it's gonna go out to these repos. Also, I can do a search for that RPM. So I can say Yum search Wget. So it's gonna go to those repos. It's gonna go out and search for that package for me, right? And then it come back and it tells me it's a utility for retrieving files using HTTP and FTP protocols. Voila. I can also do Yum info Wget. And now it's gonna go out and it's gonna tell me information about that. If you're in Google Cloud or Google Cloud or AWS, you should just be able to click on that particular OS and install it. After this class, I'll show it to you. Because I still got to answer the project management class. I haven't forgot the project management information. I haven't forgot that. All right. So now I'm just going to do a Yum install Wget. And I do the -y because it asked me the question and I don't want to answer it. So this is the automatically way, especially if you're writing a script, to go ahead and answer the question. Do what I tell you to do, right? That's what it says. Do what I tell you to do. Do that. It says, hey, install this and don't ask me no questions. That's basically what you're telling me, right? So now when I go back over here to temp, let's go grab something else. Let's go and grab this one for Rel 7. We're not going to install it. I'm just going to grab it. So I can come over here and right click, copy link address. And now I can then say wget cut and paste. And it downloads that. And now I have the Rel 7 one and I have the Rel 8 one. I installed using Yum. So now I can, there's what we call an RPM database. So I can do RPM -QA, meaning query the database. And when you query the database, and if you just hit enter, it's going to give you every RPM that's installed on the system. Remember last week when I said you want to find out how many lines you have? So if I do RPM QA, pipe that over to WC, word count minus L, it's going to give me the number of lines. So 392 RPMs are installed, right? Now, when I do RPM-QA, it gave me everything, but I want to filter. So I'm going to use grep to filter. I'm going to use -I, which I don't have to, but now I'm going to do EPEL, and it's going to filter and look for everything, ignoring the case, because I could have a capital E or capital whatever, but it's going to ignore the case and treat everything as is, and then whatever case, and then give me that result. Did that make sense now?
What page did you use? What page did you use to get the link for the RPM package?
What page did I use?
The web page.
RPM is already installed by default.
It is?
Mm-hmm. Even on your Debian boxes, RPM is installed by default. It's a command. So if you type RPM and then hit tab, you should get RPM. You can do RPM -info, -help, and you should get that by default. It's installed by default. It's a baseline package.
Got it.
You got it?
Thank you. Yep. Thank you.
Everybody else to keep up? Oh yeah, yep. So I copy and pasted, and so I did a wget. I do it again. You see, it adds a .1 because I've already have that installed, but that's whatever. But you see it downloaded, and then once you do that, you do a RPM dash IV or yum install. In my case, I did a yum install, and then I just highlighted this right here. You can highlight, or you can just do EP EL, and it's gonna tell you. It's gonna ask you which one. And in my case, we want 8, and it's gonna try to install it, and it's gonna say nothing to do because it's already installed. Yep, it's being recorded. Yep. So everything you need when you're taking the exam is in the man pages and in the help. So man RPM is going to give you what you can do. It tells you right here -I, and then you get install options. You have select different packages. You can query packages. You can verify, you can have install options, and then they go on to other things that you could do. You could upgrade, you could freshen, just upgrade the database. Like there's a whole bunch of things that you could do with RPM, and they go through and give you that. So the repo list is so I can find out where, if I have a set of packages, and I have those packages, and I want to have that package, if I have a set of packages that I want to install, I can grab that package from a location and install it. That makes sense? Did you get it? So if I do yum repo list,
Tam, you might have to repeat that. And you had some background noise.
I know. So when I do yum repo list, I have a listing of places that are accessible to me, or to the machine, I should say, to install packages. And I know that because one, they're listed here, and then I double verify that by going over here to yum.repo d, and I do a ls. These files here, so let's look at this file. Let's install Vim. Whole lot of packages when you install Vim. Oh, on the other one, when you don't have nothing installed, it had a whole lot of packages. But this is AWS, so they took care of some stuff for you. So Vim EPL. Everywhere there's an enabled one, see, like this one, the debug info isn't enabled and the source isn't enabled, but the extra packages is enabled. So that's how I know that this repo inside of this file, that .repo file, this enable it's available to me. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a yum repo list again. And look, you see EPL and EPL modular. Let's go back into that file and let's enable the debug info. All right. Let's clear my screen. And now let's do a yum repo list. All right. You see debug info come up? It wasn't there before, but now it's there. I just enabled that repository that has something, that may have something that I want in order to install a package. So that's how on Linux boxes That's how you get packages brought on. That's one way to get packages brought onto your machine. The .d, that's just the directory. That's just the layout of the directory. So if you look, if you go up one and you do a ls, if you look right here, that's just the name of the directory.
I think I'm trying to figure out when you say package, what exactly do you mean?
Just like you need to install Adobe on your laptop because you want to have Adobe as an application. That's what it is. It's just an application.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
We call it packages. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So is everybody able to replicate this? Everybody able to do this? No? Yes? All right, let's see. Hey, Anthony, can you share your screen? And I want you to install a package for me. Anthony, you there? Caller, you there? Anthony was like, if I be really quiet, she's not gonna know that I'm here or not. You hear it? Can you share your screen? Or better yet, can you give me the command? No problem. Can you give me the command to install curl? It's the same thing. I just wanted to see if you know how to install curl. Anybody besides Rico and Rico. Anybody besides Rico and Rico? No, nobody. So you install curl like this. So you do a yum install. Curl is already installed by default. So we will do curl anyway. All right, and it's gonna go out and check all these locations for you. Oh, look, curl's not installed. And then I'm gonna hit yes, and boom. Right? So that's how that works.
Do I have to come out of the temporary directory for that to happen? Because mine says no such command. Oh wait, did I spell that wrong? Hold on.
Yum, 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 yum.
Let's see. Okay, got it.
All right. So we did some yum tonight. Yeah, if you're doing Debian, it would be apt-get install curl. That was if it was Debian. So we did some yum tonight. And the reason why is because sometimes you're gonna need some packages that are not installed by default. And then when we need to go over more commands as well too. Yum is just your package manager like it is for brew install, or if you're gonna install on your Windows boxes. I don't even know what it's called. It's not chocolatey, it's something else. But in our case, for what we need, especially for the exams, you're gonna need, if you're gonna follow along in the book, they have what they call the KVM. So what KVM does, so we got KVM. Let's do this yum KVM install. All right, so we're on Rel 8. So you're gonna install KVM. This gets into that nested virtualization and so forth. I don't have this turned on. I don't KVM should install, but I'll double check. We're about to find out. So I'm gonna post this link. You're gonna follow along. Yeah. If the machine messes up, guess what? Spin up another one. All right. So first things first, we're gonna you're just gonna copy and paste. And this is the reason why you're doing this is because in the book it has you spin up KVM, but we don't have we're not using VirtualBox or VMware Fusion right now. So naturally, this is not going to return anything. But if I spun up a bare metal machine, it will return something. If you did this on your boxes, it would do the same thing. These classes claim few use 8. I don't know who say that, but that's 7 is going out. Oh, why since you brought that up, so let's look at this Red Hat end of life dates. So Red Hat has what they call their end of life um for their stuff. So when you're looking at support and stuff like that, and you want to know how long stuff is, how when it's gonna end, this is where you can come to find out about Red Hat end of life and so forth. And I gave you this because Rails 7.5 and 7.6 are coming up on end of life. But if you buy like an additional license, you can get all that. Taj, what you lost on? Yep.
I mean, I can't even get in on my terminal, so I'm just like, I can't get curl in or anything.
What
Not found prompt.
Which where are you at? GCP, AWS, Azure?
GCP.
Okay. Let me see if my GCP works now. Possibly, maybe. I may have to restart mine. I may have to go back out and come back in.
So that terminal window you got right there is from your GCP, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yep. Well, I'm in the wrong thing. I'm in the one in my Mac.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're in your Mac, that's not gonna happen. So if I sudo to dash root, su dash root, and then I do a yum, if I do a yum update.
Hold on, how do I even get that window to pop up from my VM?
Right here.
Wait, do that again.
Open the browser.
Okay, there we go. Now I feel like I'm in the game.
Yeah. So you can see here I did a yum update. So that yum update is saying, hey, when you're looking at this, and this is important, when you're spinning up your EC2 instances or any instances out in any cloud, the first thing you should want to do is update your system, because those AMIs or those images, they have been sitting there since a month ago, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and security vulnerabilities come out every single day. So when you do an apt-get update if you're in Debian, or a yum update if you're inside of Red Hat, it'll go out to those repositories. Those repositories, remember we did that yum repo list? Those are repositories. It's going out and it's telling me the name of those repositories over here inside of Google Cloud. It's telling me the name of them. See? You see that there's the familiar RHI. That's how you know you're in the cloud. And it's going to tell me the packages that need to be installed and the packages that need to be upgraded. And then down here it says, hey, I'm installing 4, but I'm upgrading 36. Are you okay with that? And I say, yep, go ahead. And so now it's going to go through and download and install and upgrade those packages.
Go back to the top of your commands, because I'm trying to do the yum update and I keep getting the wrong error.
Right here, Yum update. Did you sudo the root?
I did that, and then I do yum update. It's saying command not found.
Are you in? You didn't choose Red Hat. Type in apt-get apt dash get space update. Type that in and then hit enter.
Command line options not understood. Combination with
But that apt-get work, right?
yeah.
That's because you're in Debian. So what you did was this. You clicked on here whenever this decides to come up. All right. Your instance, and you didn't come down here to change this part.
Mm-hmm.
You have to change this and go in here and then click Red Hat Linux and then click that. That's gonna give you Red Hat. By default, you just got Debian.
Okay, so we'll go back to change it to Red Hat.
So now it's going through and you see it's updating the packages. See? Boom. Same way if I do over here inside of in here if I do a yum update. Now you see all the packages. You see how long you see it's been sitting out there for a long time. And now it's telling me what packages need to be updated and installed. Right? It's telling me that, right? So I'm just gonna say yes. So you should automatically do that when you first get your machine spun up. Just upgrade to the latest and greatest. And then you need to reboot your system as well too, so you can get on the latest and greatest kernel as well too when you do it. Your latest and greatest kernel, because what happens, and you know what, you may not have to with the cloud system. They may go ahead and update you to the latest kernel. Usually on the bare metal machines, the new kernel doesn't take an effect until you reboot the system. So it's doing its install here. So as you can see, it's an up installing the cloud SDK. Because remember when we were clicking through here, we clicked and said, hey, install the SDK. That SDK is the same SDK you will install on your Mac or your Windows box in order to interact with Google Cloud and so forth. And we're going to do that next week. So it's doing this update. Any questions on Yum update? There's a whole lot more questions on Yum that we have not covered, but any other questions on it? Anybody feeling lost?
Once it's finished installing, how do I get back to the command? Like it's just a blank line. How do I?
Did you do clear
Yeah.
and then you hit enter a couple of times?
Hold on. I didn't hit it a couple of times. Yeah, now I did.
There you go.
Nothing.
Oh, you don't have, you got just a blank screen?
Yeah.
It might did you let it go here and let it do its thing? Or did you hit
Mhm.
control? Because it should take a minute. You see it's taking me a while. Like this one got 76 packages. This one got 117. Almost done. Who's gonna win the race? Yeah, this SDK is huge, by the way. And that's how you update your machines. That's how you update your packages. So here's a caveat. This is gets into a lot of things, and I should stop recording because when we record past like 2 hours, it take a minute for us to break it up. So let me stop.
I appreciate you today.